G'day guys, welcome to another episode of What's on Wasto's Bench. Today we have a Yamaha RBS Model 200. RBS, they're not really well known. They're a vintage guitar, or vintage bass guitar. This particular one is 1989, so it's definitely vintage. Fretboard's in great condition, given its age. And you can see it's some lovely colours in that fretboard. This is how I got it. It did have 3 strings on it, which I've just removed. It's a sister model to the RBX 200 that I also have. There's a lot of similar stylings to it, except this has obviously the extra pickup. So the P bass and the J bass, this being the J for jazz, or jazz bass. So it's a Yamaha. This one's made in Taiwan. You can see there's a crack in the finish that runs. That is a finish crack. It's not a body crack, so it's been exposed to some heat or some high humidity. I got this off a guy who randomly imports the guitars from Japan. So this one, see there was a sticker there. So this one has been imported from Japan. The RBS models weren't sold in Australia, is my understanding of it. And RBS only ran from about 89 to 92. Then the RBX took over, which has a different headstock. Or maybe they were made in parallel, but this being the different one with the pickup there. So we'll just flip it over. You can tell it's been into some in a humid area because we've got some cracking, some rust mark and cracking the back here. Again, that's cracks in the finish. That's not a body crack because it doesn't follow a seam line. You see the seam line, if you look close enough, is actually that there is the seam line where the finish has gone into the seam. The finish is shrunk, doesn't follow. Cracks are in the outer shell because it doesn't follow correctly on the seam line, and it's quite strong. There's another crack that runs across the top here. Like an eggshell, the finish kind of is quite thick and brittle, and timber moves. And you can see there, we'll just show you how thick and brittle it can get. But there's timber underneath there. The timber underneath is fine. It needs an extreme cleanup. At some point in time it was used a beginner guitar marking the frets. And they're really good machine heads from the late 80s and early 90s, the Yamaha branded ones. I got it because it's the same neck profile as my RBX, so I can just pick this one up. It'll feel exactly the same scale length, and all. The rear cavity is the same as RBX. The RBS, there's very little known about it. It's an orange crush, never even got sold in Australia, orange crush. So who knows how well travelled this guitar is. It also has, just like the RBX models, it has the adjustment for the truss rod down the bottom here. And there it is. There's what's on Wasto's bench. Hope you've enjoyed the review, and I'll be back with a Yamaha RBS update and also a bit of a sound test when I've finished cleaning, conditioning, redressing all these frets, putting a new set of strings on it, and cleaning the body. It's going to be awesome. And making sure the electronics work. Righto. Wasto's Garage. Not all about cars. Keep on rocking. RBS. Yamaha RBS 1989.